From Amway to Mary Kay, there are companies that give you the chance to be your own boss and experience financial freedom. It is a business model known as multi-level marketing, but evidence shows many are pyramid schemes because you end up having to shell out for expensive products and then recruit everyone you know to buy them.
In her new book, Little Bosses Everywhere, How the Pyramid Scheme Shaped America, New York Magazine writer Bridget Reed investigates the tricks and sleights of hand used in MLMs. And Bridget joins us now. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks so much for having me.
So, I feel like, we all remember growing up with a lot of these companies, but have these exploded because of social media and this idea you could be a stay-at-home mom and do all this and promote things through social media?
They have actually been declining in numbers in terms of traditional multi-level marketing. But what you're talking about, yes, is also happening where they're morphing is what I would say, because social media has certainly made the pitch easier. So while the traditional companies, Amway, Herbalife, Mary Kay, there's actually a lot of evidence that they're sort of slowly shrinking. There are a lot more multi-level marketing companies in this country, between 700 and 1,000. The FTC doesn't even really know how many.
And you're right that there's a disproportionate impact on women. More than 75% are women here. Tell us why that is.
MLMs since the 60s have predominantly the participants have been women, because women are statistically more likely to need flexible work or income. They're still doing childcare. Women dominate the sectors where work is more precarious. There aren't benefits and the hours are less. Retail, the service industry. So women have always been, for decades, the people who participate at higher rates in multi-level marketing.
So pyramid schemes are illegal. So how are multi-level marketing companies getting around that? Are they just doing something that's not illegal, but just seems like it is?
This is where it gets tricky and why I had to write a whole book to figure it out, because the reason goes back all the way to the sort of first era when we did, as a country, crack down on pyramid schemes in the 1970s. In 1979, the FTC made a decision called the Amway decision on its case against Amway, the MLM company, and basically decided that if a company followed these rules, that it would keep it from being a pyramid scheme. These rules were basically Amway's own versions of what it did internally to keep it from being a pyramid scheme. The FTC didn't really test these rules or see that they were truly enforced. And that's really the only regulation we've ever had on MLM. So the question of whether a multi-level marketing company really is different from a pyramid scheme has long been a debate. It's very controversial. And my book really argues that there's lots of evidence that there really isn't a difference. And unfortunately, this lack of real regulation or even testing the regulation we do have has meant that lots of these companies have flourished in exactly the same way as pyramid schemes do. And yet they're called multi-level marketing.
Tell us about how you went undercover. This is 2023. You went undercover at the Mary Kay convention. What did you find there?
Undercover feels strong since I just walked in, wearing a dress and didn't really have to put on a disguise. But yeah, I did attend the Mary Kay convention, and that felt important because multi-level marketing conventions are really closed to the public. But that is where the recruits really enjoy kind of all the rewards of their participational year, which mostly includes buying a lot of products. The convention is where people are, celebrated, where they get a lot of love. And that's really what I discovered, is that a lot of Americans, many of them women, but Americans of all stripes are looking for validation. They're looking for community. And many of them are struggling, yes, financially, but they're also just looking for purpose. And that's really what a convention does. And it becomes really insidious because you can see that a lot of people in MLM are not being successful in the way that we think of a job being successful. They're not making enough money to live. They're spending a lot, but they are getting out of it this sense of community. And I felt that absolutely at the convention.
So if you want to get involved in, not all of these are pyramid schemes, how can you tell which ones are legitimate and is it the ones that are asking for all this money up front that are bad, or maybe you found something different?
Well, I think there's a real question if any of them really operate in the way that they promise that they do, even multi-level marketing companies that say they're not pyramid schemes, the results when we do get information about how people do within them are dismal. A tiny fraction of participants even make a sort of very small amount, of commissions, like above the poverty line kind of thing. Even the people doing really well who are in the top rungs of leadership make very little money and spend a lot. We don't even really have net figures, right, in terms of what people actually take home, like your take home pay. And so I would caution anyone about any multi-level marketing company. And many of them, even though they actually don't require a lot upfront, it's a $99 starter kit, $100, the expenses accrue over time, and very quickly, recruits are encouraged by their uplines to spend more and more. And that's actually how you're rewarded in many multi-level marketing companies. Yes, you're ostensibly supposed to make sales, but they really don't track them and they don't care. What they care about is you're spending money. So I would just really caution anybody trying to get involved in one at all.
Did any of these companies respond with a statement or anything saying we're not doing anything wrong?
Very, very few did when we were fact checking the book. The Direct Selling Association, which is the industry's lobbying and trade organization in DC, came out with a statement basically calling the book fake news, but without refuting any of its claims specifically. And since then, no company has come out and said any of the reporting in my book. They've not come out with any counterclaims. Yeah.
Okay, the book is Little Bosses Everywhere, How the Pyramid Scheme Shaped America. You can check out Bridget's site for more and follow her on Instagram. Thanks, Bridget.
Thank you so much.